And we're going live. Good evening, Periscope. How are you? It's the book club. It's time for the Acts on This TV book club. Fanny's here straight away. Fanny, before everybody joins, and whilst everyone's joining, Tony Ross is here, Fabiola's here, Ruben's here, Border Region TV are here. Guys, let's just play some more Christmas music. You're going to get this for every single Periscope until until Christmas basically now, because it is almost Christmas. Definitely one of my favourites of all time. All right, Sophie, she's in the house. Can't sing like Mariah Carey. It's pretty good though, isn't it? Let's just enjoy it. Who's this? Stephen. It's his first day on Periscope. Stephen, massive welcome. We don't normally play Mariah Carey, Stephen, to be honest with you. Tonight, nice Mariah, says Ruben. Just turn you down, Mariah, for a sec. Tonight, guys, it's Wednesday, which means it's the Acts on This TV book club. This is awesome, says Tony. Karen's here as well. For those who haven't got a clue what we normally do on Periscope and that kind of stuff, I do 2 Periscopes a week, guys. My name's Ross, I'm an actor, and I'm a voiceover artist from Manchester in the UK. And I scope on a Monday night and a Wednesday night. And a Monday night we do a personal development Periscope. It's kind of for actors, but for everybody as well. Fabiola's back in a minute. She wants some a slice of panettone. Is that how you say it now? She's off anyway. And on a Wednesday night, guys, we do a book club. Okay. Now, big shout out to Tony Rossi, who's in Chicago. He's on the scope tonight because he recommended the book club. Hibster's here. I did Christmas on November the 25th. It's all done now. Well, you've got another month of it, Hipster. Listen. There you go. Cheers, Mariah. I'll have a little bit more of her later on. Oh, back in the day, definitely would have liked a little bit more of Mariah. Hey, I live in Chicago too. Ruben lives in Chicago too as well. Exactly, massive shout out to Ruben. Tony and Ruben, do you know each other or what? If not, get a little Periscope meeting going yourselves. I'm operating from a level of frustration according to Hyatt on that test you sent out today. Yes, I did send out a test today, guys, by a mentor of mine called Michael Hyatt. He did something called the Life Score assessment that he sent me today. You should go check it out, definitely. And he's also going to do a webinar on goal setting in about a week, I think it is. I think it's about a week. It's the first week of December. So get on that. I'm going to be on it. I'm also going to end up probably doing his program again that he does once a year called 5 Days to Your Best Year Ever. It's an amazing program on goal setting, and I definitely I'm going to go on it again. So it'd be good if you guys get on it. We can do it together. It's all about goal setting and strategic goal setting for setting yourself up for the best year ever. I've done it for the last 2 years on the trot, and it's fantastic. It's a super valuable program. So yeah, I'll send you more information on that. But if you want to do the life score thing, just go to act.network. In fact, let me find out what it is for you, the exact web address, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Getting it now. It is. It's there. Yeah, it's act.network/life score. act.network/life score. I'm just going to make sure that works. act.network. Yeah, it does. /life score. So go check it out. Get your life score done, and then it's an eye opener. I realised today, guys, that in 2016, through doing that score, just how much of my kind of like social life I've neglected, if I'm honest with you. I've been like working, smashing out the work. Which webinar are you signed up to, Ross? I'm signed up to the one on the Tuesday, because Michael's doing them on like every night for like 4 nights. I think I'm on the Tuesday one. It starts at like 10 a.m. Central Time, which I think is 4 p.m. UK time. So I'm on that one. But yeah, sign up for the webinar Michael's done. Go to act.network/life score. Do the life score assessment, and then get on the webinar next week. Fanny's on that one as well. Awesome, Fanny. So tonight, guys, the book club. Tony, big shout out to Tony Rossi and Ruben in Chicago for recommending this book. It's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and it's the bit at the top says, "Conquer your hidden fear and take life to the next level." I only started reading this today, Tony. I know you've read the whole book, my man. So you can help us along with this. But all I want to do tonight, guys, is literally read you like the first 12 pages or so. And it's really the introduction to the book and what the book's all about. And it's about something called the upper limit problem, which I was like, what's the upper limit problem? And then about 6-7 pages in, it just smashes you in the face. And I just relate to it so much because I have seen this in myself, but more recently, you know what? I've seen this in so many people who over the last few months, give me some hearts if you've done this, if you tried to start like a new positive habit, or maybe your relationship's going really well, or your physicality and your training in the gym is going really well, your career might be going really well, and then some day just comes along and you just like, it's almost like you hit, and I call this like the F it button all the time. People just hit the fuck it button sometimes. And they just like almost sabotage themselves. So they sleep in and they don't go to the gym instead, and they're like, oh my God, why did I go to the gym? What is wrong with me? Who said what is wrong with me in the last couple of months? And I don't mean referring to me. There's probably a lot wrong with me. But referring to themselves. But they're like, why do I do this? Everything just seems to be going right for me, and then bang, I screw stuff up. And this is the upper limit problem. I've said that quite a lot recently, says Stephen. Well, Stephen, we're going to learn tonight a little bit about why you're doing that. Lucy's here as well. Good evening, Lucy. Just seen you join. It's very interesting, and I'd never really looked at it before or been that aware of it. But I am aware of it, literally just through this first 10 pages of this book, 10 or 12 pages. I see this in a lot of people around me. Even today, I had a WhatsApp conversation with someone who said this exact same thing. They'd been on a roll when it came to early start. In fact, no, you know what? I had a WhatsApp conversation with one person and an email conversation with someone else who emailed me saying that for the last few days, they've been getting up at 6:45, they've been getting into the gym before work, everything's been going great, and then bang, they've almost kind of like messed it up. They knew they should have gone this morning, they just decided they were going to stay in bed, and they've screwed that up. Another person was talking about their career. It's quite prevalent, I think. There's a lot of kind of habit creation stuff around that, but ultimately, I think this problem that Gay talks about in this book, the upper limit problem, is also at work here. So if you guys are ready, and you've got your, how do you say it? Is it panettone? Is that what you were going to get? Who was it who was going to get that? Someone was going to go and get some of that, because they heard Mariah Carey, and it reminded them of that or something. Have you got that yet? What, are you back? It's almost as if I think you deserve the break because you have achieved a little. So sometimes it works like that, Fanny, but you're going to hear how other times it's not even the fact that, oh, I deserve a bit of a rest because I've done well. It's something that just seems to be completely incongruent with what you would normally associate with having success, or wanting success. People, can self-sabotage themselves a lot if they're not careful. So give me some hearts if you're ready and you've got your brew and your panettone or whatever, and we'll begin. The introduction says it's about removing your last obstacle to ultimate success in wealth, work, and love. So remove your last obstacle to ultimate success in wealth, work, and love. The hearts are coming through, so I know people are ready. Okay. The subtitle of this as well is the one problem that holds you back. So let's discover it, okay? Gay says, I call it the upper limit problem, and I haven't met a person yet who didn't suffer at least a little bit from it. Even if you're already extravagantly successful, I can promise you that your own version of the upper limit problem is still holding you back from achieving your true potential. Remember what I say in the Bulletproof Actor videos that I do, that everyone's got their next level. I don't give a shit if you're, the poorest of the poor or the richest of the rich. Everyone's got that next level to go to. So this applies to everybody, guys. In fact, the more successful you get, the more urgent it becomes to identify and overcome your upper limit problem. If you don't clear the upper limit problem out of your way, it will be a drag on you until the day you die. He says, I know those words may sound blunt, but if our positions were reversed, I'd want you to be just that blunt with me. So at this point I was like, okay, Gay, tell us a little bit more then. So he says, I've taken the risk of speaking that bluntly to many people who were already quite successful. I did so not because they were paying me a consultancy fee, but because it's part of my life's mission to help people go the distance to claim their full potential. Michael Dell, you've probably all owned a Dell computer in your time, or you've used a Dell computer. Michael Dell was the founder of Dell Computers. He's one of the youngest self-made billionaires in history. Okay, he's amongst the most brilliant people I've ever met, says Gay. I had the pleasure of doing executive coaching with him, and other members of his team during the 90s, at a time when the company was beginning to grow by leaps and bounds. The quality I most appreciate about Michael is his openness. This is so important. His openness to learning. Many high-level executives I've known are saddled with an equally high degree of defensiveness and a deep need to be right all the time. Do you need to be right all the time? I sometimes have fallen for this in the past. Well, I feel like I've got to be right, and I'll even massage the answer that I give to people once I've heard a better answer to go, no, that's what I meant. Like, of course I was right. I think we can all fall for that. He says, many high-level executives I've known are saddled with an equally high degree of defensiveness and a deep need to be right all the time. Not Michael. He doesn't put on the brakes when new learning is coming. He doesn't have the tendency shared by many CEOs to resist change and do more of what obviously isn't working. We just did a whole book on Who Moved My Cheese all about resisting change and continuing to do what isn't working. If you've not seen those Periscope replays, go to actonthis.tv and watch them after this. Don't go now. But it's called Who Moved My Cheese. Great book we did last month. So Michael Dell wasn't born with this gift. None of us are. To get to that level of undefended openness to learning, we have to practice as diligently as a master skier or a master cellist. To make the kind of leaps Michael Dell makes, we must practice a specific skill. That skill is to identify and transcend our upper limit, wherever and whenever we encounter it. We'll own this skill ceaselessly throughout the book. And Michael, as Michael and others now know, the upper limit problem is the only problem we need to solve. They dedicated themselves to solving it and made the big leap, title of the book. The results speak for themselves. Along the path to the zone of genius, which we're going to find out all about, all of them learned the same life-changing secret you will learn in this book. The glass ceiling they were operating under is held in place by a single problem, a barrier they didn't even know they had, and you might not even know you've got it. Once they saw the one problem and how to solve it, they were free to go beyond ordinary success to a new and extraordinary level of abundance, love, and creativity in their lives. Once you understand the problem and how to solve it, you can do far more than increase your net financial worth. You can make quantum shifts in the amount of love you feel and the amount of creativity you express. I mention this point because I've learned that that's essential to keep the heart and soul elements of life, such as love and creativity, growing in balance as you go to higher levels of material success. It makes no sense to take your big leap into greater financial success in such a way that it destroys your relationships, your inner sense of yourself, and your connection to your inner wellspring of creativity. Many people have made that error, and the result is never pleasant to behold. Life is at its best when love, money, and creativity are growing in harmony. In this book, I want to talk to you directly, just as if you were sitting across from me one-on-one. I may not know you personally, but based on my years of consulting, I believe I know a great deal about you. I know quite a bit about you as well, guys, so I'll chip in. I imagine that you sense a huge unrealized potential in yourself. Give me some hearts if you sense a huge unrealized potential in yourself. And for those who don't know how to give hearts, just tap the screen. Literally, just keep tapping your screen. You'll see them pop up on your screen. Give me 1, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, all like this. If you really feel you've got an untapped potential there. You all have. I include myself in this as well. I imagine, you sense a huge unrealized potential in yourself, an extraordinary level of success you know you can achieve. Give me some hearts if you know you can achieve more than you are achieving now. I also imagine that you worry about falling short of achieving the ultimate success that you can see, taste, and smell. Who worries about not reaching that thing that they think they were born to do? I'll give some hearts to myself. Because we do. I feel I've got an unshakable belief in myself, an unstoppable confidence. But I still think, have I got all the time to get all this in and to do all this? And you've just got to have faith, that you have. But a lot of people, worry about falling short of achieving their ultimate success. If you feel that way, you're on the threshold of perhaps the greatest opportunity of your life. You're about to make a discovery that will remove the barrier between you and your ultimate success. I can make that promise, says Gay, because long before I helped other people enhance their own abundance, love, and creativity, I was my own best customer. From the moment of discovery until now, I have used the method I describe in this book to make all my wishes and dreams come true. Now at this point, again, I'm like, as I was reading it before, I'm like, really? Is this another one of them promises? Is it going to deliver? But check it out, you're going to relate to this. The moment of discovery is this next title. My original discovery happened early in my career, when I was working as a research psychologist at Stanford University. It was the moment I caught the first glimmer of the realization that would change my life so profoundly. Here's what happened. I had just returned to my office from lunch with a friend, and we'd spent a congenial hour talking about the projects we were working on. My work was going well, and I was happy in my relationships. I leaned back in my chair and gave myself a good stretch, letting out a sigh of relaxed satisfaction. I felt great. A few seconds later though, I found myself worrying about my daughter, Amanda, who was away from home on a summer program she had very much wanted to attend. A slideshow of painful images flickered through my mind. Who's got kids who has these painful images when their kids are away sometimes? Amanda sitting alone in a dorm room. Amanda feeling lonely and miserable away from home. Welcome to Ice Toto, first day on Periscope. We're just reading a book, Ice Toto, hope you're well. So yeah, he was imagining all these images of Amanda, his daughter, going through bad times. Amanda feeling lonely and miserable away from home. Amanda being taunted by other kids. The inner joy disappeared from my body as my mind continued to produce this stream of images. So he'd gone from feeling really great about his relationships and his work, to suddenly the next minute feeling like absolute shit, worrying about his daughter. Thinking something might be wrong, I grabbed the phone and called the dorm where she was staying. Her dorm supervisor told me Amanda was fine, and in fact, she could see out the window to where Amanda was playing soccer with some other girls. The kindly supervisor told me it was normal for parents to worry about kids away from home. Indeed, she said I was the third parent to call that day with similar concerns. Really? I said, surprised. Why do you think that is? She gave a wise chuckle. You don't realise how much you miss her, so you think she must be hurting somehow. Plus, you probably had experiences yourself of being lonely away from home, so you think she must be having the same experiences. I thanked her and hung up. I felt a bit foolish, but I also knew that something important had just happened. I sat there wondering, how did I go from feeling good in one moment to manufacturing a stream of painful images the next? Suddenly, the light of awareness dawned on me. I manufactured the stream of painful images because I was feeling good. Some part of me was afraid of enjoying positive energy for any extended period of time. Okay, and it was at that point where I was like, wow, I see this, and it explains so much in other people, where I see them unable to come to terms with the fact that life can be good all the time. How many people here have, who's this? Self-sabotage is funny. Welcome Stephen again, first day on Periscope, he's joined again. Maybe you X'd out and came back in. But yeah, who's like, when someone said, how are you doing? Going, oh my God, everything's like going really, really well at the moment. I'm just waiting for it all to go wrong. It's still something I'm working on, says Tony. Accidentally, says Stephen. No, I'm only joking, no worries. Yeah, Tony, man, honestly, I see it. So many people, and they'll say that to me like, well, everything's just going really right on it. I'm worried because I've got nothing to worry about. And they end up manufacturing something that's comfortable, that's kind of like their normal state of being. I don't believe I suffer from that. I've never said that ever. Well, but do your self-sabotage stuff, Fanny. Is everything going right? For instance, like when you came on a Periscope and gone, I've just came second in this competition, I've just done this and I've just done this. And then suddenly you then start going, oh, but I'm not going to celebrate any of that. I'm going to focus on all of the trauma and all of the drama and say, why didn't I come first? Because second isn't good enough. So maybe you have a bit of it. No, my problem is that I never think anything is good enough, she says. Well, that's it as well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe you don't allow yourself any time. This is all about cutting the time short when you're feeling good. Maybe you just don't allow yourself any time, or maybe just a glimmer, and you need to work on actually just allowing yourself to, to get to this point where you're cutting it off at least after having some. But let's go a little bit further. Gay says, when I reached my upper limit of how much positive feeling I could handle, I created a series of unpleasant thoughts to deflate me. The thoughts I manufactured were guaranteed to make me return to a state I was more familiar with, not feeling so good. Worrying about children away from home is always a handy way to feel bad. But I knew that if I hadn't pulled up those particular worrying thoughts, I would have used some other train of thought to dampen my mood. I remember almost dancing with excitement as I applied the insight to different parts of my life, such as relationships and health. Once I saw the pattern, it became obvious how it worked. I would enjoy a period of relationship harmony, and maybe this is you with your wife or your husband or your spouse or whatever right now. Then I'd stop the flow of connection by criticizing or starting an argument. The upper limit problem showed up even in my eating habits. I would eat healthy food and get plenty of exercise, feeling great for several days in a row. Then I'd go on a weekend binge of restaurant food, wine, and late nights that would leave me feeling dull and bloated. This is what I've just seen in two people today. The pattern was simple. Enjoy a period of feeling really good and then do something to mess it up. I also realized that the same pattern had a grip on the world at large. Oh God, yeah, I've done that with food and exercise. It's funny, so there you go. You have got the problem as well. But it's because you're human, Fanny. There's nothing wrong with you. Or anyone, we've all got this problem. We've all, unless you're aware of it, and I'm going to be so aware of it now, everybody's got it. I promise you, I see it too often for it to just be in a couple of people. It's like in so many people that I meet. So the pattern was simple. Enjoy a period of feeling really good. When I mess up, I go to yoga class, says Ruben. Boom. I love a bit of yoga. I find it hard. Yoga is so much more difficult than I thought. Enjoy a period of peace, and ultimately then plunge into a war. It's what we do as humans. We'd create a time of economic expansion and then go into recession or depression. You'll see that over time. So until 2009, the world was living, 2008, 2009, the world was living in like a huge boom. We create this massive, oh, everything's going well, and then someone goes, well, this can't go on forever, can it? Could it not? No, it shouldn't go on forever. No, we need something. Okay, right, sabotage it. Let's just crash the stock market. Okay, boom. Everybody feels it. Everywhere I looked, says Gay, I saw evidence of the pattern. Eventually, I reined in the wild horses of my imagination and focused on the key step every researcher begins with, and that's stating the problem to be solved and the question to be answered. This is the problem. So he wrote, this is the problem. I have a limited tolerance for feeling good. When I hit my upper limit, I manufacture thoughts that make me feel bad. The problem is bigger than just my internal feelings, though. I seem to have a limited tolerance for my life going well in general. When I hit my upper limit, I do something that stops my positive forward trajectory. I tend to sabotage. I feel I deserve the junk food after being good for so long, for example. That's maybe just like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for rewards, Fanny, but I would think about the rewards and then think, how will this reward serve me afterwards? Will I feel good about this or bad? I always think, oh, if I get that cheesecake with this coffee, am I going to feel good? Well, I will for 10 minutes. And then I think, but you know what? I'm just gonna feel bad afterwards. Let's just have the coffee. I'll have the coffee and have a protein bar instead. So I'll find something that's still gonna satisfy that little bit of sweetness that I need. So yeah, I do something that stops my positive forward trajectory. I get into conflict with my ex-wife, I get into money bind, or I do something else that brings me back down within the bounds of my limited tolerance. The problem looked much bigger than my small version. Our species in general had grown accustomed to pain and adversity through millennia of struggle. Remember I always say I know people who are addicted to the struggle because it's so familiar to them. Having no struggle or no argument or no fight in their life is like, oh my God, I need to protest about something. I better start a petition about something then. Something must be wrong in the world. Whatever it is, I'll start some kind of fight about it, because they get their significance through the struggle, their connection with themselves through the struggle, their love of themselves through the struggle, and they get their certainty through the struggle. I know that feeling, says Stephen. It's really kind of like important to realise, Steve, because our main four human needs of certainty, variety, significance and love and connection can all be fulfilled through negative behaviour like depression and struggle. And when an activity fulfills three or more, it becomes addictive, which is why people become addicted to depression. But yeah, we've become accustomed, literally over millennia, to this struggle and this upper limit that we must have. Things can't be going well. I've got to look for something that's going to go wrong because things can't be going this well. So Gay carries on anyway and says, we had millions of nerve connections devoted to registering pain. We know how to feel bad, and we had a huge expanse of territory in the centre of our bodies dedicated to feeling fear. We have literally in the centre of our brain your amygdala, your alarm system in your brain. The centre of your brain is literally designed just to feel fear. Send a massive rush of cortisol and adrenaline into your body and just make you run away. So we are very accustomed to that. We're designed to feel fear and struggle. Certainly we have pleasure points in various places too, but where were the mechanisms for ongoing natural good feeling? I realised that we were only recently evolving the ability to let ourselves feel good and have things go well for any significant period of time. When you think about it, in the course of time, it is only quite recently, the last maybe, 30, 40 years, where people have accepted, maybe a bit longer, 50 years, that life can be good and that we should be feeling good and that we don't have to punish ourselves. And we're becoming a lot more mindful now, and we're understanding psychology more and the mechanisms of the brain. But for decades and decades, well, literally for millennia before this, that's the last 50 years, it has all been about the struggle, fighting for stuff, because we've lived quite primitively before. Joining the military and train as Olympic weightlifter, that has helped me overcome fear. Awesome, Ruben. Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, God, massive salute to you for the military. Yeah, braver man than I, definitely. But yeah, that stuff like that, you've got to face fear in the face, haven't you? On things like that. So yeah, you may be a little bit more adapted to this kind of thinking. So Gay says the first question I wanted to answer was this, and we're the last page now. We're just going to leave it because I want you to think about your upper limit. How can I extend the periods of contentment in my life? Is that not something we would all want? How can we extend the periods of contentment in my life? So we aren't just going like this, cloud nine 1 minute, oh, I feel like shit the next. Cloud nine the next, oh, I feel like shit the next. We want to be going like this and then right up and living up here. But even when we have a bad day, we want to be dropping like this. So you're just going up and down here as opposed to so even like, good day you're living at 90%, bad day you're living at 75%. Not, great day 90%, bad day 5%. Getting a balanced perspective, says Fanny. Even better questions sprung up for Gay though. If I can eliminate the behaviours that stop the flow of positive energy, can I learn how to feel great all the time? Great question. Next one. Can I allow things to go well in my life all the time? In relationships, can I live in harmony and intimacy all the time? Sometimes I think people have you ever had this where people are like, oh, but a really passionate relationship, is full of arguments all the time. That's what makes it good. I don't think it is. My relationships that have been the best have been the ones where there's been no arguments. People are like, oh, but that's just a fiery, passionate, alive relationship. Bullshit. That's two people who can't see eye to eye, who shouldn't be together, who end up sticking with each other because they're afraid they'll never find anybody else. So can you live in harmony and intimacy all the time in your relationships? Can our species, in expanding waves of peace and prosperity, free from the pattern of messing things up, live free from the pattern of messing things up when they are going well? He talks about this later in the book. No way does he, Tony. Interesting. Well, there you go. We've got all this to come. Tony Rossi's read the whole book. So the last paragraph we're going to read tonight, guys, he says, I owe my life to those questions. In the process of answering them, I was able to create the kind of life I had only dreamed about, as well as to help many others make their dreams come true also. Saying that it gets boring is like saying, isn't it boring to have no war? It's not really boring to have no war, is it? I think that would be lovely if we didn't have any war. Very good point, though. The discovery catapulted me out of an excellent life into an extraordinary place I had never imagined. We've got happy kids, we live in a house we love, and I haven't had to do anything I didn't want to do for a long, long time. I can't even remember what it feels like. If any or all of that sounds good to you, you're holding in your hands the way to make it happen for yourself. Well, I am, but you guys can as well if you get yourself to Amazon and buy The Big Leap. So that's just the intro, guys. We're going to start looking at preparing for the big leap, or preparing for your big leap, and the one problem and how to solve it in next week's book club. But for now, I just wanted to introduce you to ultimately the theme of the book, the big theme in the big leap, and that is the upper limit problem. So just reflect now on like the past month or the past 6 months, or whatever. Have you had periods of time this year where everything has been going really well and you've screwed it up for yourself? Even if you weren't conscious of it being you at the time, can you now look back and go, actually, you know what? Yeah, I was working out 4 times a week, and then I just decided, no, screw it, I deserve to have that weekend off, and then I never went back. Was your relationship going really, really well until you went, oh, actually, these things are going too well? I've had relationships, interesting this one. There was almost a relationship once where it was like if there wasn't any drama, there was a problem. I hate drama. I really don't like it. But yeah, have you been in a relationship with somebody where they're kind of happily distracted from the relationship almost when there's drama, or you're arguing, or you're fighting about something, and then when there's none, they have a misconception that means, oh, the relationship's not alive anymore, or this is boring now. Because actually they were having an indulgent relationship with the arguments as opposed to actually with you. Maybe you relate to that. Other things in your life, work might have been going really well, and then suddenly you decide not to put in as much, you're not as proactive, don't put in as much work. Suddenly you stop getting the results because you're like, actually, I'm afraid of having too much success. Things are going too well right now. I had one of those relationships, says Tony. There you go, interested. But yeah, I think we can be equally afraid of success. I've said this before to other people when I kind of, in my acting career almost, this is before I started working as regularly as I do now. Thank God, touch wood, that continues. But initially, when I was addicted to the struggle, guys, and I was fighting it for every audition, and it was a struggle. And then I'd get like one audition that could change the game in terms of I would go, oh my God, if I get this and I get the part, everything could change here. It was like on the cusp of something big happening. And a part of me, and I'll admit it, a part of me almost went, oh my God, just back away for a minute. That would mean that all this struggle and this fight ends. Do you want that? I'm constantly afraid of not succeeding as an actor. I think we can be afraid, like I said, though, as equally of succeeding sometimes, because we're so used to not succeeding when we're first starting out that ends up being shit, but it's our shit. And I say this a lot, like, people are like, they'll get themselves, they'll dig their hole and and they'll be like, well, you know what, yeah, I might be in a hole of despair, but you know what, it's my hole, and I'm going to defend it desperately. Get away from my hole, don't try and drag me out, I'm comfortable down here. And that can be us again. Well, now I realise through this book that that's absolutely, you know, the upper limit at play there, where you're like, oh, wait a minute, can't have too much success because that would change me, or that would mean I wouldn't have to fight, and I might, you know, not be able to hang out with all these people who are fighting as well, and I might lose some of my identity that I currently got. So it's interesting, just have a think about times where you might recognise where your upper limit has kicked in, and you've almost taught yourself out of stuff, not done stuff, not committed to stuff, caused arguments, and ultimately, yeah, what I said before, just hit the fuck it button and go, you know what, I'm going to hit that for the weekend, and then suddenly, woo, you're like, oh, it's okay, I feel back to normal now because I'm not having any success again, and I'm used to that, so that feels good. Maybe, yeah, it plays a part, but I'm interested, Tony, to read the rest of the book. Let us know if there's particular, because I can only read 4 chapters, Tony, well, 3 chapters now on Book Club. If people want to read the rest, they're going to have to buy it, but if there's 3 chapters, Tony, that you're like, actually, you should cover this, this, and this, shout up in the Facebook group, let me know which chapters are the most compelling, because I normally read these books along with you guys, effectively. I normally read the chapter just before I read it to you online, so let me know. The hidden barriers, he says. So I'll check out the hidden barriers. Which one is the hidden barriers? I'm gonna look at the contents now. Living in the zone of genius, living in Einstein time, solving the relationship problem. Interesting one. Baby steps and big leaps. That's always sounds good. There's 4 hidden barriers that hold us back. It helped me a lot. Oh, well, we definitely look at that then. Definitely look at that. Making the leap, preparing for the leap, getting specific, building a new home in your new zone of genius. Using the ultimate success mantra to thrive in love, abundance, and creativity. Zone of genius is good too, says Tony. Oh, well, we'll check it all out. Well, we'll check as much out as we can. But guys, yeah, if you're watching on the replay, click the link below the video now. If you're on actonthis.tv, you can just click the link and go over to Amazon to buy the book if you want to read along with us. I'm sure it's available on audiobook and Kindle as well, I'm sure. And if you're watching live, yeah, get yourself over to amazon.com or .co.uk and get yourself a copy. I didn't like the struggle and rejections and being poor. That's why I quit acting over 20 years ago, says Ruben. So maybe, yeah, you were addicted to it back then, Ruben. Now, it's time to break free. Can I speak? Free or through, I was going to say. Absolutely. Can't wait to get started again. Well, now is maybe just time, just the right time. I say this a lot, and you'll know, Ruben, from the Bulletproof Actor program that you're involved in. It's all about the action that you take, but I also say, and stuff I've not really covered before, is it's all about specific action and taking specific action at the right time. If you take specific action, but it's the wrong action at the right time, it will always equal pain. So maybe even back then 20 years ago, you were taking the right action, the right specific action, but it was at the wrong time in your life. So now, maybe that time is right, and you can start taking that action again, specific action at the right time, and yeah, you're going to smash it. Everyone on the Bulletproof Actor program, I swear, they commit to it, will have the best 2017 ever. The best year, literally, will be your best year ever. I guarantee you that. So I hope you found this useful, guys. I just thought it was really, really interesting. Like I say, I literally only read, we're all on the same page. I've just read, well, apart from Tony, I've just read up to where you know now. But I'm looking forward to reading more through the week, and I'll fill you guys in next Wednesday. Like I say, get Michael Hyatt's life score done that I mentioned at the beginning of this scope. If you've just joined now, go to act.network/life score, all one word. And take that live score program. Let me know what score you get. Post in the Facebook groups, facebook.com/groups/actonthistv, particularly if you're an actor, because it's a group for actors. If you're not, come and hang out anyway, it's fine, but you might not find it that interesting. But all these scopes are for everybody, regardless whether you're an actor or not. I got 50, said Fanny. Well, that's all right, it's glass half full. That just means, all that is, it just means that you know, or you should know, what areas you want to focus on next year. It's exciting. It means you've got room to grow. If you came out, Fanny, and went, yeah, I got 100, I go, boring. 100 out of 100, well, what are you going to do with your life then? Pointless. 50 just means, boom, you've got loads to work on, which is great. Seriously, Honestly, I mean it. Like, you know, people sometimes try and cheat tests like that. This life score test, you could cheat by making your life out to be better than it is or lying to yourself. But if you get a score of 50, you've been honest, Fanny, which is brilliant, because you need that self-awareness. The most successful people I know have unbelievable self-awareness. And yeah, it just means, that you've got obviously room to grow. When Oprah Winfrey was asked the question, would you give yourself out of 10? What would you give yourself out of 10 in terms of fulfilling your potential right now? What do you think she gave herself, guys? Oprah Winfrey, billionaire Oprah Winfrey. What do you think she gave herself? Did she give herself a 10 out of 10? Fanny says a 2. It's not far off, Fanny, to be honest. Give me some more guesses, people. Out of 10, what do you think Oprah Winfrey gave herself in terms of her life score for how she was doing in her life and what she was doing? So we had a 2 off Fanny. Stephen said a 4. Hipster says a 6. Ruben says a 4. Can't believe it's all, none of you got it. It was a 3. It was close. It was between those answers. She gave herself a 3, and it wasn't because she was like, oh, I'm shit or anything like that. She said that she had so much influence and so much wealth that she felt she wasn't using that enough to positively impact the people on this earth. So she was like, I know I've done incredibly well, but now I have to use what I've done to help other people. So somebody like Oprah Winfrey's giving herself a 3 out of 10, or ultimately 30 out of 100, Fanny. If you've got a 50, you're doing all right. So don't worry about it. It just means that you've got room to grow. If anyone came to me and went, oh yeah, I'm 90, 95 or 100, I'd be like, well, you're lying to yourself. Or if you are, you need to start using that for massive positive impact. So yeah, we've all got places to go with that. So yeah, check it out, act.network, www.act.network/life score. Put your name and email address in, and Michael will send you the life score program to your email. What did you get, Ross? Oof, I'll tell you, Fanny. Let me check. I had it up here. Email me the results. I think it was the late 70s. I did it literally before I sent it out to everybody this morning. I might have deleted it because I've got the webinar registration there as well. Doing a webinar, yeah, on, let me see the date on this. On Tuesday, December the 6th, I'm registered at 4 p.m. UK time. It's called 7 Steps for Taking Control of 2017. It was somewhere in the 70s, Fanny, that I got, but for me, the areas massively lacking in my life from this year have definitely been like disconnection, relaxation, socializing, cementing, and nurturing relationships with close friends and family. I've just neglected them all. I feel bad. Man, that's well high. It's not that high. Steve got 53. Well, great. I mean, again, it's just room to grow, isn't it? I've consistently worked for like the last 3 years, probably, honestly, like, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours a day on all this personal development stuff, websites, career, everything like that, and I've had a lot of success. So in terms of my career, finances, physicality I work on every day, I've had a lot of success in those kind of ways. But yeah, Tony says, so he's always working to unplug. But yeah, for me, I've got, money I'm not a problem, physicality not a problem, health not a problem, fulfillment in terms of, impact not a problem, but relationships, rubbish. I mean, just like, I have a lot of like acquaintances and friends online, and you guys are a massive part of my life. But in terms of quality time with family, my niece, my nephew, my brother, my mum, and just, like really nurturing relationships, intimate relationships, I completely let that go off my radar completely in 2016. I became single in like 2015, and then the whole of 2016 I'm like, I'm just not bothered, not got time. Fanny says you need a woman, Ross. But it's something, that genuinely I'm like, right, wait a minute, probably should start kind of like, I get quite excited about maybe dating again and stuff like that. That's something I've completely neglected. Need is a strong word, actually. Yeah, it's not need. I think it's nice to have. It's lovely to share your life with someone. It's so fulfilling. Single life isn't that bad, Ross. Quite enjoyable, says Stephen. Sometimes, Stephen, I do skip down the road after talking to my friends on the phone who are married with children, going, tra-la-la, I don't have to worry about that. But then there are other times where I'm like, you know what, it's a cold winter's night, I'd love to have somebody to warm me up. I literally just put dating back on my agenda, first time, says Tony. Well, Tony, man, we'll keep each other posted in the new year, if that's our schedule. I'm going, right, how's it gone for you this week? We might do like a relationship Periscope, which would be hilarious. But yeah, for me, that's what I realised about the life score. Completely neglected that side of my life. It's all been work, work, work. You know, what would seem from the outside as success, but then sometimes, you know, it can get lonely, can't it, when you're just focusing on work all the time. You know, my friends are texting me going, oh, we're in the pub, do you want to come out? And I'm like, guys, you know, I've got to write up this presentation, or, you know, I've just got to do these edits on the website, or publish this or that. Because I can fall behind quite quickly. If this Periscope doesn't go online tomorrow, I don't re-upload it to YouTube and publish it on the site, and then I end up with another one on Monday, another one next Wednesday, I can get a backlog so easily. Surely too hard to be massively successful when you have to dedicate time to another human. No, I don't think so, Fanny. I don't think so. If that other human being, if your missions are aligned, and I don't mean that you're working on the same projects, it wouldn't mean that at all, but you know, in terms of, for me, my mission ultimately is positive impacts, seeing people fulfill their potential, and I love the media in terms of TV acting, film, presenting. Yeah, I really want to get a lot more presenting under my belt next year as well. Because I find sometimes, actually, you know what, some of the most enjoyable performances I've done this year in 2016, although I've had quite a bit of acting work, have been performances where I've been myself. This is super enjoyable for me. I'm not acting, it's just me, this is it. And I've done a lot of public speaking this year that I've never done before, and I really like that. So I'm like, actually, you know what, I'm going to do more of that. Could you work the same amount you do now and have a relationship? No, but I would gladly sacrifice some of the productivity and some of the stuff that I do, and I would end up using some of my financial resources to pay other people to do those things, and then dedicate my time to a relationship. So I would be poorer, but I'm more than happy to be a bit poorer and to have, you know, that other area of my life fulfilled. So no, you know, you definitely can't, because, you know, I have no responsibility right now. Don't have to answer to anyone or spend any time with anybody, or, you know, anything like that. But when I have been in relationships, I love that part of it. But you needed success first in order to do that. I did public speaking years ago. I loved it, said Ruben. Always end up poorer in a relationship, said Stephen. Thus getting you money to do that. Yeah, so I guess in a way it's been a blessing to have neglected that area of my life for 12, 18 months. Because it's enabled me to invest that time into businesses that create passive income and, you know, some really decent revenue. Plus my acting career, my voiceover career as well. It's not all, I don't make all my money, you know, online. So it has been, yeah, so I guess it has kind of been a bit of a blessing to do that. So if you are in a position where you are single, guys, make sure you're not squandering your time moping about. Use it to get ahead. What I always tell people, says the single man, it's hilarious, Tony, this is funny. What I always say though is, if you're looking for a particular type of person to have a relationship with, so you're like, okay, I've got my tick boxes, this girl has to be this, 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 and this, or this guy, you know, for the ladies or whatever, you know, has to be this, 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 this. You can't expect to be with somebody who is all of those things if you aren't first those things yourself. So the easiest way to find the man or woman of your dreams ultimately is to become that person, as in the attributes. I'm not the man of my dreams. Become those attributes, because then you're going to find that you are, obviously, you end up being surrounded by those people. Because you've become that thing, you're going to hang out with more people like that. Thus, you're going to meet more people like that. There's much higher chance of you know, finding somebody like that if you have become that. There's no point in going, I want someone who's really driven, super career-minded, great business, great body, and all you do is sit at home and cry, because they're not going to want to be with you. So you've got to become almost what you want in order to get what you want. Like attracts like. It does find it also opposites quite attract though when it comes to personality-wise, which I think sometimes is quite interesting. There's got to be a few universal things for me in relationships, like drive and passion and independence. I really like it when, you know, if a woman is independent and driven and motivated to get out and do their own thing. I don't like counselling women through relationships with me anyway. Definitely don't want that. You know, fixing people. You get sometimes people who are kind of like just attract people who need fixing, and then they fix them and then they split up. Going on a dinner date next Wednesday. I've been approached to do a pin-up shoot in 2 weeks, says Karen. Bloody hell, Karen. Look at you. Getting out and about. Yeah, hey, well, good luck with that. Get your pin-up done. You also need to reconsider who you have as friends if they bring out the worst in you. Yeah, totally, Ruben. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I always attract people that need or want fixing. Well, you've got to fix yourself and work on yourself, Fanny. It's what I'm like. I've got to fix me. Well, not that we need fixing, but you know, I've got to work on me primarily. Get myself to a great place, and then hopefully, you know, I think something very powerful about someone who is all right being on their own. It's very powerful, I think. And if you can find someone else who's all right being on their own, electric. Scared out of my mind, says Karen. Don't be scared, Karen. Feel the fear and do it. Do it anyway. Yes, you're very right, says Fanny. Honestly, I think, like, you know, apart from kind of like success and the science behind that, the science behind relationships fascinates me more than anything. But again, you can absolutely work on relationships like you would work on science, as you know, the science of success as a business. Ultimately, we have 4 human needs that need fulfilling. If you can fulfill those in a partner, you're going to own their soul. Sorry guys for being late. Please can you fill me in? Oh, Alex, mate, there's too much has been discussed tonight. You've missed the book club on something called The Big Leap, which is talking about our upper limits, where we sabotage ourselves when we're having too much success. Is what human beings do, so we've got to be aware of that. Watch the replay after this, you'll like it. And then we're talking about women and, well, guys and women in relationships, Alex. That's what it's come back round to. It's come back to like a dating show, effectively, mate. She says, I'll catch up on the replay. Yeah, definitely. Alex, how's your love life? We might as well get involved with yours for now. We've talked about everybody else's. Let us know on a scale of 1 to 10 what's going on. I can relate to that though, he says. What, the relationship thing or the upper limit? Can we do actors singles nights? Well, maybe, Fanny, I don't know. Alex is giving himself a 1 out of 10 on the love life score. Excellent, Alex. It's about as good as mine. And as good as Fanny's and everybody else's by the sound of things. Oh God, hilarious. But yeah, I was saying, you know, there's 4 human needs: certainty, variety, significance, love and connection. If you fulfill all of those in your partner, you will own their soul. If they fulfill all of those in you, they will own your soul. If you don't talk about how you can fulfill those needs with each other, they will often go unfulfilled, and that's when problems start. So ultimately, I find now, after getting it wrong, that relationships are all about communication. Every girl I like is always in a relationship, says Alex. Just happened again with the girl I met today. Alex, man, what's going on? Well, you need to get, you know what, because you're stalling. You're doing what I used to do back in the day. See somebody that I liked, and then I'd end up just waiting because I'd be scared. And then they'd get with someone else who was, and I'd go, why have they got with him? Oh my God, if they got with him, they'd have well got with me. He's a right loser. And then I just always missed out. At least you're meeting women, said Fanny. Good night, Ross. It's 11 PM in Amsterdam and I'm flying back home to Chicago tomorrow morning. Ruben, boom, man. Get yourself back to Chi-Town with Tony Rossi. And yeah, you guys should like meet up and do a Periscope that we can all watch. Just with you two Periscoping. Definitely. Tony's a big Cubs fan. He'll go and watch the Cubs with you and stuff like that. You know, you can go like picking up women together. You know, excellent. Good work, man. But thank you very much for joining us, and I'll catch up with you soon. So yeah, basically it's all about communication, guys, and yeah, making sure those needs are being fulfilled on either side, and then you're going to thrive. I'm in Wrigleyville, Ruben. Wrigleyville sounds like Wrigley chewing gum, where they make. Was that where they made chewing gum? Tony, no, probably not. Maybe it was. Wrigleyville. Top name though. I do think we should have an act on this date night. Maybe sort something out. We'll figure something out then. Oh, it is, says Tony. Actually is where they make chewing gum. Amazing. Wrigley. He was a super successful man who features in this book, Mr. Wrigley, Think and Grow Rich. Still one of my favourite books ever. Definitely. Surgically remove that magnet from your bum dating someone to see someone else. What does that mean, Karen? I don't know what you mean. Magnet from your bum? No idea. But yeah, there you go. We've covered a few things tonight, basically, guys. Relationships and our upper limit. Steve says that's just worrying. I don't know what's going on here, Steve, to be honest with you. I'm completely lost now. But there we go. Guys, it's been amazing. It's been emotional. What time is it? 5 to 10. I'm going to let you guys go. Like Ruben said, it's nearly 11 o'clock in Amsterdam. There's a lot of women in Amsterdam, Ruben. You can find yourself a relationship over there easily. Just not the kind of women you want to be hanging out with, though. I'll tell you that. Went to a stag do in Amsterdam. Never again. I didn't do anything weird like that. I just drank. Yeah, very interesting place. Not really where you're going to find a wife, to be honest. Not the type you'd really like. So yeah, there we are. Good stuff. I'm going to be back on Friday, guys, with a podcast, not a Periscope, but if you go to iTunes and just search for Act on This TV, all one word, you can get a free episode every week. It has a magnet inside that attracts people who are committed. Oh, you mean so who's that, Karen? Who has a magnet that attracts people who are committed? So they stray, is that what you're talking about? Magnets. Something like that. And then Vanny said, but why is it in his bottom? What are you talking about? Who are you talking about as well? It's all just gone horrendously kinky and X-rated, really. It's a good job it's after the watershed, guys. Yeah, Act on This TV, iTunes, all one word. There's 25 episodes of my 5 to Thrive podcast up. Go and get all of them. Listen to them. They'll change your life. And then 26 is going to be available this Friday coming. Then I'll be back on Monday with a Motivation and Mind Hacks Periscope. Again, on goal setting. It's all about goal setting until Christmas, guys. So for the final time, I'll tell you about Michael Hyatt's life score thing again, because that's all to do with goal setting. Go to act.network/life score and do Michael Hyatt's life score program. It'll take you 10 minutes. It's free. It's going to give you a score out of 100 and tell you which areas of your life you're going to work on in 2017. Then on Monday, we're going to start the goal setting process of how you set goals strategically, properly, track them, you know, make sure that they fulfill a number of criteria that mean they're going to be achievable. And I'm going to start showing you that from this Monday onwards for the next 3 weeks. And then we're going to all smash 2017 and have our best years ever. Right, guys, I'll love you and leave you. Thanks so much. It's all got a bit weird at the end, but it's been a lot of fun once again. Vanny's still laughing at the magnet in the bottom. I don't even know what it was about. I get the magnet idea now, but I don't know whose bum it was in and why. But Karen, she's quirky. That's what she does. She comes on the Bulletproof Actor live calls, Karen. She's hilarious. Literally just lights them up. Absolutely off her head, but very funny, Karen. We love you. It sounds uncomfortable, says Stephen. It's all getting uncomfortable, Stephen. I don't know what's going on. Right, I'm off, guys. It is now nearly 10 o'clock. Just think about the upper limit. There's one thing to take away from this. Yeah, think about the upper limit. Karen, you date people in relationships. Is that what you're saying? Oh, something like that. Think about your upper limit. Yeah, are you self-sabotaging yourself or your relationships? Are you having a great relationship with someone and then that magnet in your bum attracts you to somebody else who's already in a relationship? It seems to happen to Karen or something like that. Just think about that. Is that your upper limit kicking in? No, someone said it. Oh, Karen, I don't understand. I'll watch the replay and try and catch up. Tony, thanks for being here. Oh, Beryl girl, you've just joined, but we're leaving. Watch the replay, Beryl girl. You have the time of your life. It all gets a bit weird at the end. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate you all. Remember your upper limits. Just break through them. Get out there. Do something great. Bye for now.